Up in the high Himalayas, a friendship that's been called time-tested is facing, well, its biggest test yet. We're talking about the relationship between India and Bhutan. For decades, it's been a bedrock of stability in the region, but now, new geopolitical pressures are pushing this historic bond right to the edge. So, picture this. Our story starts high up in the Himalayas, on this tiny, remote plateau. And this small piece of land, it became the flashpoint in a super tense standoff between two nuclear-armed giants, India and China, with the small kingdom of Bhutan caught smack dab in the middle. And the fallout from that whole situation, plus all the political chess moves that have happened since, it really begs the question. Is this decades-long, seemingly unbreakable alliance now at a breaking point? Is it facing its greatest challenge ever? To really get what's at stake here, we've got to rewind the clock to 2017 and to the really dramatic events that went down on the Doklam Plateau. That's this critical spot where the borders of India, Bhutan, and China all meet. Okay, so what's absolutely crucial to understand is how this whole thing started. See, this wasn't just India deciding to act on its own. Chinese troops started building permanent military structures on land that Bhutan says is theirs. So in response, the Bhutanese government officially asked India for help, and that's when Indian troops went in to stop the construction. Right, now, fast forward to 2023. This statement by Bhutan's prime minister sent absolute shockwaves through New Delhi. By saying it involves three parties and that there's no big or small country, he was basically putting China on the same level as India in this dispute. And for India, that felt like a huge and potentially very worrying shift in how Bhutan sees the world. So you might be asking, why was that statement such a bombshell for India? Well, to get it, we need to look at the very foundation of this special relationship, which for over 70 years has been built on a landmark treaty. There are really three key moments that define this partnership. It all kicked off in 1949 with the First Friendship Treaty. Then, in 72, they locked in a free trade agreement, which was huge. And then, critically, in 2007, they updated that original treaty to reflect a more modern, equal relationship. And this evolution is everything. The original 1949 treaty had this clause saying India would guide Bhutan's foreign policy. But in 2007, they got rid of that completely. It was a profound shift. India went from being a guiding partner to a close friend, which was a clear signal that India recognized Bhutan's total independence and sovereignty. Now look, this friendship isn't just some dusty old document. It's a living, breathing alliance. It's built on incredibly deep, practical cooperation that touches pretty much every part of life you can think of. Just take a look at the economics. The connection is, well, it's immense. About 80%, 80, of Bhutan's entire foreign trade is with India. That number alone shows you just how deeply their economies are woven together. And it's not just trade. India is a massive development partner. For Bhutan's latest 5-year national plan, India put in 4,500 crore rupees. That's a huge investment, playing a major role in funding the country's growth. I mean, the partnership really is multifaceted. You've got energy, where India helps build these massive hydropower projects and then buys the extra electricity. You have security, like the joint military operation All Clear back in 2003. The diplomatic ties are super close, with constant visits between leaders. It even extends to education and finance. Bhutan's currency is literally pegged to the Indian rupee. All right, so let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture, because this relationship isn't just about two countries. No, it's a critical piece on a much larger geopolitical chessboard, and honestly, the security of the entire region hangs in the balance. For India, Bhutan has always played this incredibly important role as a buffer state. I mean, just look at its location. It's perfectly sandwiched between India and China. And historically, that's served as a strategic cushion, preventing the two giants from rubbing up against each other directly. And that brings us to the absolutely vital Siliguri corridor. People call it the chicken's neck. It's the super narrow, just 22-kilometer wide strip of land that is India's only land connection to its 8 northeastern states. That makes it incredibly, incredibly vulnerable. And this is exactly why Doklam matters so much. From the high ground of that plateau, you have a direct, commanding view right over that fragile chicken's neck. Any hostile military force up there could essentially threaten to cut off the entire northeastern part of India from the rest of the country. It's a genuine existential threat. So at the same time, you've got China dialing up the pressure on Bhutan big time. It's using their old border disputes as leverage. And it's no coincidence that Bhutan is the only country in that regional group that hasn't joined China's massive Belt and Road project.
The big fear in India is that China is pushing Bhutan for a land swap deal, offering them territories somewhere else in exchange for Doklam, a move that would be a nightmare for Indian security.
So the big question is, with all this intense pressure coming from the north and this deep, long-standing relationship with the south, how can this historic friendship possibly navigate the incredibly complex challenges that are on the horizon?
And, it's not like the relationship is always perfect. Take 2017, for example, when Bhutan pulled out of a big regional road deal with Bangladesh, India, and Nepal. They cited environmental concerns, wanting to stay carbon negative. It just goes to show you that Bhutan is absolutely willing to prioritize its own unique national interests, even when it complicates things for its friends. So, what's the way forward? Well, experts think there's a path, but it's going to require both countries to adapt. First, they need to diversify their partnership beyond just hydropower into areas like tourism and education. Second, they need to boost sustainable connectivity. Third, keep deepening those shared cultural ties, like their common Buddhist heritage. And finally, and this is a big one, India has to deliver on its development projects on time. That's crucial for maintaining trust.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. For more than 70 years, the border between India and Bhutan has been defined by friendship and trust. But now, as this competition between giants heats up, the ultimate question is, in this new era, are those